guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Salinya for those who do not know, and in today's video I wanted to do a whole video on a report sheet that I made and how I give report as a nurse using this piece of paper. I'm going to do another video of doing like step-by-step of like a day in the life of a NICU nurse, because I have updates now. When I did the last one, it was a level 3. This one will be a level 4. But before I do that and like post that video, I wanted to do one of just the report sheet that I decided to make that I feel like is helpful for me. Everybody seems to have their own tool that they like to use to get report to make sure that they're all settled for the day, and this is the one that I made. I'm pretty sure that I still have it on my computer, so if I do, I will link it down below so you guys can use it if you want. It'll be free. It's not like it's gonna cost or anything like that, but I figured that this would be a good video because I was really proud of this sheet that I made. Like, I feel like I did a good job. So there's just one thing that I have that's missing on it, but I know what I'm going to do until I like print all new ones. And I also feel like I may make one on Canva, but this one gets the job done for now, and I know where everything is, and I don't have to like get a random one and try to, I don't know, figure out where everything is while I'm trying to get report and I'm hurrying up scribbling missing things. So if this is something that you're interested in about a report sheet that I made, then let's get on into the video, okay? We're literally gonna be looking at the photos. This is maybe one of the last times you see me until the end of the video, okay? Let's do it. All right, so this is a little overview of my actual report sheet. I have 3 categories, so we'll go over each, so I'll zoom in on those. But we have patient, background, assessment, and daily brain. So this is something that I just felt like was everything that I needed. When I did my research, I found a bunch and I just put everything in one and made it look like this because it's easy for me. So let's start with patient background first. All right, so this is patient background first. This is what we're going to do first. I just put 2 little hearts at the top just because I thought that it was cute. So here goes patient background. I have the bed number because, as you know, in the NICU, there's a bunch of beds. So it's just good to remember where this patient is. If it's a boy or a girl, you can also put other if it depends on that baby. We have birth gestational age. That's what GA means. That is the gestational age when they were born. And then you're able to do the current GA, which is how old they are currently. I had the weight of the birth weight versus the current, so you're able to see, especially those babies that are kind of just working on gaining weight, so they're able to get ready to go home, because they always try to make sure that they pass their birth weight before they end up getting discharged. So I feel like that was good. It may be way off if you have a baby that's like turning 1 year old or something like that. Then we have crib type. Open crib, that means that they're not in anything that they need. The top is popped, or they're in like an actual regular baby crib. There goes that. A warmer, which sometimes where I am we call those like panda warmers, and then isolate, which is giraffe. Those are for like the small preemie babies that need that humidity. They need all of that good stuff to make sure that they grow, and they're just really small to be out and about in the world yet. And then a warmer, that's just in case they need help with their temperatures, or if they come back from a surgery, something like that. Then we'll go over to infant history. It's not a really big box, but I feel like you could just hit the main parts, like things that are pertinent or important to the patient currently, or like while they're diagnosis or while they're in the hospital. So there goes infant history here. And then I just have a little box for maternal history, so you're able to know how old mom is, her G1, or I always say G1, P1, but how many pregnancies they had and how many children that they have. And then I have delivery history with the C-section, vaginal delivery, and then the APGAR scores for the baby. And I left 3 slots in case they need that 3rd APGAR. So then I have my social and family history. I left a little line because you know how it can get really, really detailed, but all of that can probably be found in the chart. I just feel like this paper, you can put the main items in there. So there goes social family history. And then we have the providing team, because sometimes depending on the hospital that you work in, if it's a big facility like mine, then it'll have different like color teams or different teams. So it's important to know who you got to call in case things happen. And I just put other notes just for others in case there's anything that you need to add from there. So that is patient background first. All right, next up is assessments. So this is pretty straightforward. It just depends on the system that you're looking at. And I feel like it's nice to just put everything that you can in the spot that is pertaining to the baby now. So of course we have neurological, so that's everything that deals with, let's say, seizures or movements or anything like that, IVH, things like that. I feel like would be important that you pop in neurological. You have HEENT, which is head, ear, eyes, nose, and throat, I guess you can say. So we have that here. That's anything that is different there. You'll be able to pop it in here. Like let's say they have ROP, I'd pop that in there. Let's say that they have a cleft lip or cleft palate, I'd pop that in there as well. So that's just an example. Then gastrointestinal, this is like where I would put maybe like my feeds, or like let's say that they have an OG, I'll pop that probably in here because feeding is over here, but you can just say that they're getting tube feedings or something like that. So if they're getting a tube feeding, obviously their GI is going to probably be an X on your charting. So I just probably write something in here when it comes to GI. Or let's say they have an ostomy, or let's say they have, I don't know, a bowel perf or something like that. You'll be able to pop it underneath GI because that's where that category contains to. Then you have the urinary system. So then you can write anything here, like if they have a Foley maybe, or if they have incontinence, or if they have some weird looking diapers, maybe you can put that in there. And then we have skin. You can like say if they have a temp probe on, you can say if they're mottled, if they're dry, if they're peeling, if anything here, you can do the difference in skin on here. And then over here on the right hand side, I have cardiac. So that's really, really nice. Like let's say you could have a whole bunch of different things with cardiac. Let's say they're super tachycardic and you need to keep an eye on that. You can type that in your cardiac. Let's say they have a PDA. Let's say they have a PFO. Let's say that they're getting ready to go to surgery. Anything like that you can put into cardiac. Respiratory, this is where you can put if they're on any sort of oxygen status, such as a nasal cannula, such as CPAP, such as NIPPV, intubated on an oscillator, room air, anything. You can pop that on here. If they have a trach and they're doing their trials of weaning their vent settings, boom, you can pop that there. And then we have feeding and nutrition. This is just where I probably put my actual feeding order there so I don't forget. I like to put literally the whole thing, what type of formula they're on, how many calories, how much they're getting, all of that type of stuff. So I probably pop that there. If they're really big, if they're starting like purees and stuff, maybe they're working with speech, but you're able to put it in this little box here. Then we have musculoskeletal, because things can definitely be different. Like let's say that babies sometimes they have like broken limbs after birth, or anything like that, or they come in because they have that. Just keep an eye on your muscles, because that's pretty much what musculoskeletal is, like your bones and all of that good stuff. I pop that in there. And then my last section here would be lab and diagnostics. So this is probably what I would put when it comes to labs that I need to get, or if they're getting an x-ray today, if they're getting an ultrasound, whatever they're getting, I would probably pop it in there. Or if they got morning labs, I would probably write down my labs values. So when they come around and they ask what were the labs, if they don't know, I'll have them here on this piece of paper. So assessments, I was just trying to do the actual systems. And then don't forget up here is patient background. So let's move into the last part of my report sheet. Right, so the last part, I'm trying to figure out how to do this without me looking so shaky, but the last part is the daily brain. I just always say brain just because I usually use Epic charting, and that's kind of what you use and what I use pretty much. So I ended up doing a whole shift from 7 to 7, and I ended up doing 7 or 1900, whether you're a day shift or night shift. I'm a day girly through and through. So then you can see the daily brain. So night shift and day shift, you can see it like that. I just would probably circle what time it is, or I would probably circle what time I actually have care times. And in these boxes, you can write what you have to do. Like let's say you have to give a med, or let's say you have to do a certain assessment. You have every hour blood pressures or something like that. Then I would pop in here just to remind me. A little tip that I was told when I was on orientation when I first started as a nurse is never write the med that you have to give. Always just write med on here, so you're able to check the chart, see if it's updated, and make sure that you're actually giving the right med before you grab it and maybe it's discontinued or you just don't need it anymore. It kind of helps you do a check on yourself. So you'd write med rather than, I don't know, they're getting potassium chloride or sodium chloride or something like that. You're able to check into the chart. So I have all of these boxes here. I just thought that it would be super helpful, and it gives me enough space. I also write small, so that's probably a thing too. I don't write really, really big, so I'm able to fit a lot into each of these boxes to make sure that I stay on track. And another thing that I like to do with my report sheet, I like to color code it. That really just works with me. I like to color code whether it is a new baby or if it is a different baby. And if I have multiple patients, I like to color code it so I don't get things all mixed up. And then down here at the bottom, I have discharge. So these are just some common things that you need for a discharge. Obviously, if you have a girl, you don't need a circ, but I have vaccines, the newborn screen, car seat test, hearing, circ. But I probably should have put pediatrician appointment on here, so I'll probably add that when I make a brand new one. I'm just realizing that now while I'm going through here, but that would be nice to check it off. Of course, you can use your actual charting system. I just thought that these were good to have, just because those are kind of the basics that you need. Once the baby becomes more complex or they're there for a lot longer, they may need other appointments and other things for discharge, but I thought this was just pretty straightforward. And then bottom down here, I have goal for the day, because each patient, while you're taking care of them, you probably should have some goal that you're trying to reach. And I just decided to write it here. So that's pretty much what this whole report sheet is. As you can see, I think that one thing that I did realize that I don't have on here that wasn't able to fit in a box that I need to add somewhere or sometime soon, but it's okay for now, is like my IV drips and medications and stuff like that. Like my access point. I realize that is something that I missed completely on here. So if I update it, I will pop the updated one in on this video. But somewhere I was just thinking about putting at the bottom, like any access, if they have a PIV, if they have a PIC, a CVC, or whatever they have, a Brovac, you'd be able to pop it under here, and then you're able to chart in or write in all of your drips. I kind of realized why I didn't put it in here, because it's going to take a lot of space on, let's say, a lot of drips. Let's say they're on dopamine, fentanyl, morphine, Versed, I don't know, Precedex, and then they have some TPN and some lipids. I'm not saying that they'd have all of those, but let's say that they have those. You have to find a spot to be able to write all of those, the rates, the drip rate, how, the concentration, all of that good stuff. You have to write it under here. So I figured I'd just leave this space for here, or you can also put it at the top here if you'd like. It just kind of is your choice, but that's just something that I realized that I didn't have an actual box for, but I kind of feel like that's fine, only because you need a lot of space for it. So this whole sheet, I have this sheet on here, and I just did it two-sided because usually I have at least 2 patients. So I'm able to have this like this, and I won't be able to lose my report sheet, and I have both of my patients on here. This is just something I like to use, and I like to pop it in my folder. So here goes my folder here that I like to put all of my report sheets in. So that's pretty much my report sheet. I tried to go into depth. I was trying to figure out how to film it to like make it look great, but I feel like it looks fine and it like gets to the point. This is just something that I wanted to share with you guys just because it's something that I have. Someone asked if I could show my report sheet. So I definitely wanted to try to make a video. I hope that it was good. I hope that it was helpful. There's some things obviously that no report sheet to me is going to be perfect, but I feel like this makes a lot of sense to me, and I like where everything is. Where it is makes sense in my personal opinion. So that's why I made it. That's why I have it. It's a resource to you. I hope that it's helpful. And I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Please look out for other videos that are coming out on my channel. And this is a little quick video that I have for you guys this week. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, beautiful.